April 26th, 2018. From El Cajon, California, this is episode 152 of You Can Bet on That. Hi, everybody. Welcome to You Can Bet on That, a podcast for the recreational gambler. My name is Mark Duvall, and sitting across from me is Dr. Mike.
Hello.
Well, we're back from Gamblepalooza.
Yes.
It was quite a weekend.
Yes, I'm wore out.
Are you?
Yeah.
You look tired.
Well, I got a cold the last day, and so
Yeah.
coming home on Monday, I was a little ill.
Yeah.
And I still haven't shaken it.
Well, it's good, when you're feeling bad, there's nothing like a 9-hour plane flight.
Right.
We had a 3-hour layover in Denver on the way back.
I think it was closer to 10 hours, actually.
Total from the time we got on the,
yeah.
So, hope you feel better soon. But let's talk about our trip. We had a very good time. I'm so glad we were able to get there.
Yeah.
We flew in on Thursday night. We had a layover in Chicago on the way there that was relatively short.
Yeah, the ride there was really smooth.
Yeah.
Really
Actually, just get it out of the way. Our flights were fine.
Yeah.
Uneventful is what you want.
Right.
right.
Yeah,
with
exactly.
flights. So that went out great. And then Foxwoods had a ride waiting for us at the airport in Providence, Rhode Island.
Right.
So that was nice. It's only about like a 50-minute ride to Foxwoods. Well, as soon as we got there, we're walking around trying to get our bearings. And I noticed out of the corner of my eye, there's a guy walking with a Professor Slots shirt on.
Yeah, who would have that?
And I think that's got to be Professor Slots, John Friedel.
Who else is going to have that?
So I said, Professor Slots, and he turned around and we introduced ourselves. And then we walked over to the Fox Tower, where Vito had tweeted that everybody was gathering to eat a little bit at Alta Strada, a restaurant over there, and just said hello to everybody. And then went and played.
Yeah, they were eating, and we didn't need to eat at that point.
Right.
So we went and played right away.
Yeah. And listener Ernie gave us a little envelope with a little gift inside. And Ernie, you'll be happy to know that we took advantage of that gift. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
We appreciate it. We put it to good use. But I guess the gambling went okay that first night. I think it was fine. We played at several different tables throughout. This was our first time to Foxwoods, so we knew it was going to be big, but it was still bigger than we thought.
Yeah, it was bigger than I thought.
The way that it was spread out, they have so many different casinos, and some are right next to each other, and others you have to walk a ways to get to.
Yeah,
but it's spread out. I think by the end of it, we kind of could tell where we were. We found some shortcuts to places that we didn't see before.
Well, I didn't think it was going to take either of us too long to figure out a casino, no matter how big it is.
That's right. Okay. The craps tables in this casino, it's not good. Where's the next casino? We had that all down by the end of it.
We had that down pretty well.
So nothing real big that first night. We said hello to everybody who was already there. We ended up eating at Fuddruckers, which was fine.
Which was good.
Yep. I like that because it's halfway between fast food and sit down.
Yeah.
You order, but you don't have to, go through a waiter or waitress.
You like it because of the name.
And I like the name too.
Fuddruckers. Yeah. I don't know what that means.
Did you ever
came up with that?
Did you ever see the movie Idiocracy?
No.
It's this movie where Luke Wilson goes into the future and people have gotten dumber and dumber. And you see the evolution of the name of the restaurant Fuddruckers. Uh-huh. And by the time it's like 1,000 years in the future, well, I can't even say it on the show, but I imagine you can guess what it says.
I can guess what it says.
Anyway, that first night sleeping is always, a little tough. But we woke up the next morning and played a little bit more. The first kind of official event was lunch at David Burke Prime. And Vito knew of an off-menu deal, a burger deal, where you got burgers and fries for $15. And so we descended on this place. There turned out to be, what do you think it was, like about 30 people?
Yeah, 30 to 35 people.
The restaurant was virtually empty.
Right.
We were there around noon, but nobody was there. And we just all went up to the bar. It's a fairly large bar, and took it over.
Yeah.
And I'll say I'm pretty impressed with the way that they handled us.
Yeah, the servers were excellent.
They were, and I thought we'd overwhelm the kitchen.
Yeah.
With all the orders coming in at once, but things went very smoothly. I was really impressed.
Well, it's all burgers. I think most everybody got burgers.
That's true. I guess it was easy to make.
Right.
But at the same time, they're just basing their staffing on previous experience. We didn't tell them we were coming.
Like on Friday, early in the day. It's probably not that busy.
Not everybody's there yet. But they did a great job, and the burger was good.
Very good.
Yeah, that was a really good experience. So then after we ate, when we were playing at the Grand Pequot Casino, there's a high limit area kind of right off there.
Right.
And I walked in thinking, I wonder if there's a craps table. And I looked around and there wasn't. There was a lot of pie gow and blackjack. And then later you're telling me, oh, did you see the craps table in the high limit area? It's like, no.
You didn't go in far enough.
Right. You have to go in, and it's kind of around the corner. It's behind a wall.
It's behind a wall, right.
So it's a high limit craps table. It was a $50 minimum.
Right.
So after we ate, I went with a bunch of the group over to the race book. We were going to do some betting on racing, and you went over to the high limit craps. So why don't you tell your story first?
Well, that opens at noon. So I got there, after it had opened. There was nobody in there. It was just me. Mm-hmm. And I went up to the table and had, I was just rolling by myself, and they weren't going too bad. I'd make a point here or there, a few numbers. And then I got the dice, and I had a monster roll.
Yeah.
I mean, it went on forever and ever. I don't know how many points I made. Tons of 4s and 10s.
Oh, see, and that's kind of my thing lately. I've been betting a lot of 4s and 10s.
Yeah, you would have cleaned up.
Yeah.
I mean, it was crazy how long that roll went. About 2/3 of the way through it, listener Rick came, and he still ended up winning a couple $1,000s on the last third of that roll.
Just coming in the middle of your roll.
Yeah, and you bet like the 6 and 8.
Yeah.
And I was just making numbers like crazy. Anyway, it turned out to be quite a roll for me.
Nice.
Put me way up for the trip. So that was nice right at the bat. Of course, I gave it all back the next couple of days.
Well, you had some money to play with at least anyway for the rest of it.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
Gosh, I think when I finally ended up 70 out, there was just him, Rick, and another guy, older guy at the end of the table, and we were just cleaning up. And it was so nice playing in there because it was, number one, the dealers were great.
Yes, I played with you later and got to see the crew. Yeah, they were very good.
They were very good.
Yeah.
So the boxman in the high limit, Brian, he was great.
He was a character, huh? Yeah, I saw him later.
Yeah, very good. All the dealers were good there. As a matter of fact, I wanted to just mention a few of them. There was Ross, Christopher, Zoe, Billy, Lynn, Brandy were dealers. Will, Beverly. They were all great. There was a lady, Lynn, that was in the pit one night. She was really good, too. Really nice. I have to say, the dealers and the boxmen at the craps tables there were just excellent the whole time.
Yeah, in general, all of the Foxwoods tables, the crews were great. And did you notice how fast they ran the games, too?
Oh, yeah.
They kept them moving.
They moved them fast. There was one time... It was a little too fast.
It was too fast.
I mean, I couldn't even get my bets down fast enough. They were, you'd get paid and you're like trying to what are you going to do next? And before you do it, the dice are coming. It's
and that was
crazy
the thing was too, the other people that were on the table with us, there weren't many. They were fast shooters kind of like me.
Yeah.
So they weren't picking up the dice and going slow. They were, chucking them down too. So I agree. It was a little too fast.
Yeah. Even for us, that was fast. but just, they kept the game moving. I like that.
Yeah.
I do like that.
Yeah. The whole time we were there. So that was good. Well, meanwhile, I went with a bunch of the group over to the race book. And this was a lot of fun because it was quiet over there. It wasn't too crowded. They actually had some reserved seats for us where we had screens in front of us. We had to go make our bets up at the window, but we could change to whatever race we wanted to see and look at the current odds and things like that. And Gina was there. She was handicapping for us. So she helped us bet on races. And it was great. We were, just having a very good time, just kind of relaxing. And I was talking to Tim Lawson from the Better Life podcast. I said, isn't it funny here? We're betting like $5 to win on a horse or $2 across the board, and we're all excited. Meanwhile, we're over the craps table. Yeah, give me a $60 6, right? It's like nothing.
Right.
And here we are betting on just a little bit on the horses. But it was very relaxing. We had a really good time over there.
That's good.
Yeah, it was very nice. And after that, this was it's part of the Rainmaker Casino, and that's where pretty much all of their Asian games are. There were a few Asian games in the high limit room at Grand Pequot, but otherwise, Rainmaker's where you need to go for Pai Gow poker. They actually had a couple sick bow tables, a lot of baccarat. They had Pai Gow tiles. So we sat and we played some Pai Gow for a little while. Again, just very relaxing, a lot of pushes, that kind of thing. So we had a very good time. Shortly after that, it was time for sort of the official meet and greet cocktail party that took place at Centrale at the Fox Tower. And that's where we got to see Eric Rosenthal for the first time this trip. And we saw Ed O'Connor. This is the first time we've seen him since we met him in Atlantic City.
Right. It was great to see him.
So it was great to talk to him about that hard 6 that he hit, a few months ago. And Han also showed up. Han shows up to a lot of these big events. He went with the guys to Macau from Vegas Gang, a while back. And he shows up at VIMF and the Summit and that kind of thing. So Han showed up with some pizza and said hi to everybody. And he had this great jersey on. It was a Vegas Golden Knights jersey. And the name on the back, it just said Macau. And the number was 88. which is a callback to the podcast that those guys used to do called 88 Days to Macau.
Right.
So I thought it was a great shirt that he got. And of course, the Golden Knights are, killing it in the playoffs as of this recording.
Second round starting tomorrow, I believe.
Yeah. And then we played some craps after that, still in that Fox Tower. And we had a really good run, if I recall. That was a really good run.
Right. I think Cousin Mikey had a real good roll.
And everybody was asking you the whole trip, Dr. Mike, have you seen any nudity?
Yes.
Have you seen any nudity? And we sort of did.
Yeah, we did.
All right. So what happened?
Definitely. Well, some young gal wearing a very, how should I explain this?
Like a short skirt, like she was going clubbing.
Yeah, well cut short skirt. I guess she thought she was going to sit on a chair by a slot machine and missed the chair completely, fell backwards.
Yeah.
Skirt going all the way up over her head.
Yeah.
So we pretty much saw her thong and everything.
Yeah,
I mean, it was as close to nudity as you can get.
So that was the nudity.
Yeah. And then she just laid there for a while. I kept thinking, girl, get up.
Yeah, she did not get up real quick. I don't know. She didn't seem drunk, but she was in no hurry to get up.
No, I think she was just stunned a little bit. Probably didn't even realize she was, giving quite a show there. But anyway, that was our nudity for the trip.
So that was
the East Coast did not disappoint.
It delivered. That was our Friday night. We got a call from one of our listeners, actually from the casino on that Friday night. Let's listen to that real quick.
All right.
Mark and Dr. Mike, I've been looking for you guys all night, going to each craps table. This is Friday night. I am right now in the Rainmaker Casino, about to play some slots. I tell you, I've been looking for the winning table. I've been going from table to table, looking for the big hard six bets, and I haven't found you guys. I ended up on a table where a gentleman with betting big $1,000, $5,000, only big chips, playing next to me. We went through 3 cycles of the table, couldn't hit a darn thing. And I had a good roll, started hitting some numbers, about 3 points. He put $100 yo for the dealer. It took 3 times, he kept putting it back up. Eventually I hit it, $1,500, couldn't believe it. The guy next to me starts rolling, has a great roll. He puts him on the hard ways, $100 all around. He hits 2 hard ways, ends up with $1,700. It was a good night, good day to be rolling with a guy with a lot of money, and hopefully I'll see you guys tomorrow for the big slot machine pool. Hopefully you guys won some money tonight, and I will see you tomorrow. Good luck.
So not exactly sure who that was, but we must have met them eventually.
Yeah, I guess we did.
We did go to the slot pool, and so
the breakfast before that, and everything. So.
Yeah. So that night, though, Friday night, we also went over to the Keno Lounge. We went with Ryan and David, a.k.a. Jim and Derek on Twitter, a.k.a. from Stan's Grambling on YouTube. And we went over to the Keno Lounge, which it's so funny because the Keno Lounge was nothing.
Yeah.
And we had to kind of walk a ways to get to it. There's only one Keno
Maybe
Lounge.
like 10 chairs there in the Keno Lounge.
And so I got an overnight Keno, meaning I played 40 games in a row so that it would just go all night. And you played, I can't remember what you played.
I played the 4-spot all the different ways.
Oh, right.
I tried to play that.
Oh, that's right.
And I was barred by the lady at the Keno cage.
So you got barred at Keno.
I got barred at Keno.
So exactly what happened here?
Well, I took the ticket up there, and I filled it out like I always do, like I've done for years.
And it's a way ticket. It's not like you're simply picking 4 numbers. You're picking
I'm
all
picking 4 numbers, all the possible combinations.
So
there's 15 possible combinations.
Right, all the games of 1 spot, all the games of 2 spots, all the games of 3 spots, and then the 4 spots. So it's every possible way. It's actually 15 separate ways.
It's 15 separate ways. You bet $1 on each way. It's $15.
Yeah, it's very a Keno runner. You should know what that means. Yeah. Right.
So I give it to the woman, and she's like, no, she's punching numbers in the machine. She keeps punching and starting over and punching. No, you can't play this. And I'm like,
you were at that window so long. What's Mike doing?
Yeah, and I'm like, what do you mean? No, this is wrong. You can't do this. You can't do this. And I'm like, that's weird. And finally, she just like, no, you're not playing this. And I'm like, okay. I couldn't really get across to her. I mean, it was pretty self-explanatory, I thought, and I didn't know what else to say.
Sure.
So I just walked back to you guys, and I'm just standing there. I guess I'm not playing Keno. They won't let me. And I have a reputation of being very, very good at Keno.
That's right, yeah.
So that probably preceded me. She was going to bar me, I guess. Anyway, the next game, that game went off. The next game, I took the exact same ticket up to the window to a different guy who was there. He just boom, boom. Okay, here you go. Put it in the machine. And I
good luck, sir.
And I won.
And you did okay. Yeah. That's right.
So it's so crazy. I don't know what was going on with that lady, but I mean, it was a pretty obvious thing. It was hilarious. And so that gave me this sour taste in my mouth about that Keno thing there. And so I did not play an overnight ticket.
All right. But I did. Again, like 40 games. I checked the next day. I got $21
Did
back.
you have to go all the way back there to check it?
I probably didn't have to, but I did because I was kind of still investigating how to get around. And I did find a shorter way to get to the Keno that I showed you later.
Well, where would you have done it if you didn't go there?
Well, I would have maybe given it to the Keno runner that was at breakfast the next morning. He probably could have just done it for me.
He probably could have done it, yeah.
And speaking of which, we all got together for breakfast at the Veranda Café. Vito got us a nice location kind of in the back where we all could be. That was great. The Keno runner who was working there was kind of surprised. I actually tapped him and said, you're Keno? There's a bunch of people in the back who want to play. So he came over and was just bombarded by Keno tickets. He had to keep them track, and he asked for everybody's players' cards to kind of keep track of them. And I think, at least for me, I only got one game in.
Yeah, right. Well, I got one game in, a 4-spot again, in which I won $63 for my $15 ticket.
And that was all you did. So you're up for Keno, right?
I'm up for Keno on the East Coast.
Okay. Oh, that's right, because you won in Atlantic City as well.
Right. Okay. I'm up for Keno on the East Coast.
All right. Oh, very good.
Keno and slots, by the way.
On the East Coast?
On the East Coast.
Amazing.
Yeah, undefeated.
Wow. Undefeated.
2-0.
Undefeated. Let's just say you're up.
Okay.
All right. So right after breakfast, it was time for the high limit slot pull. Eric Rosenthal had organized this pull where every share was $100 and you could buy as many shares as you wanted. We bought one each.
Yeah.
And once they had that pool, we were going to go to the high limit slots and try to double our money. Double or nothing was the decision. We either double our money or we go home broke from this thing. So we went to the high limit slot area in the Grand Pequot Tower, and there was a $100 one coin Wheel of Fortune machine that they decided to play. And everybody who had a share went up, they got to press the button for as many times as shares as they had.
Right.
So people started doing this, and really we were getting nothing.
Right. I mean, there was nothing really
nothing was coming on. Finally, Bogan went up there, and he hit the spinner, and we got the spin symbol, on the Wheel of Fortune, that big thing that goes up at the top.
I think the top prize on that was like $20,000 too.
It might have been something like that.
Yeah.
So everybody's all excited, and he hits the spin button, and it landed on 4,500.
Right.
So that was pretty good for
We started with 43.
I can't even remember how
47.
many shares there were.
I think there were 47.
Oh, okay. So at that point we were up, but we had said double or nothing.
Right.
We did have to wait because that's a hand pay. Anything over $1,200, regardless of the denomination you're playing, is a hand pay, which is so stupid. I mean, think about that. Playing a $100 slot, not that a lot of people do, but you'd have hand pays constantly.
Right.
It's just 12 times your bet. So anyway, it was just going really badly. Other than Bogan's push, we weren't getting anything.
No.
We weren't getting 3 bars. It was nothing.
No, getting a few blanks where you got like money back.
Yeah. So as a group, everybody decided to move over to the top dollar machine, which was 2 $25 coin push. So $50 per push. And we went and played that for a little while, and that was going nowhere too.
Right. Yeah, that really paid off nothing.
So we ended up going back to the Wheel of Fortune. Ultimately, we ran through all the money and we walked out of there with nothing. But
I think I was the only winner on that.
Oh yeah, tell us what happened.
Yeah, while everyone was doing that, waiting, I'm sitting in a machine, you and I put $100 in.
Yeah.
I can't remember what the machine was even.
I can't remember what it was.
I can't remember what it was. But anyway, I ended up hitting a payout for $265.
Nice. Okay.
So I cashed out and, I collected $265 for the 100 I put in.
Yeah, so you got your money back plus 65.
Plus the 100 I put in for the pool. So I was ahead $65.
You were ahead that.
Yeah. And high limit room was good to me.
It was very good. So then you and I and Eric Rosenthal and Max, who we had not met before, went over to the high limit craps table.
Right.
We decided we're going to play here until the reserved craps table, which was going to open at, I think it was like 1:30 over at the Fox Tower. Right. It was a $15 craps table. I think we were originally hoping to get something lower, like a $5 table. And then they came back with, how about a $25 table? It's like, oh my gosh, no. It was 15. But anyway, we were at the high limit room. We played there and had a great run.
Yeah, it was very good.
That was very good. Yep. And then we went over to the reserved craps table, and that was great. They had that all set up for us. We had a very good time there. It wasn't all that great as far as the
craps was not all that great.
Excuse me. Yeah, the luck was not all that great.
Yeah, but it was a fun time.
Very fun, yeah. Originally, they were going to have a reserved Pai-Gow table as well, which they did not. But they did have a reserved blackjack table right next to it.
Oh, nice.
That was $25. And I want to talk about a hand that came up during that. A lot of the Gamblepalooza people started playing blackjack there. And there was one hand where the dealer dealt out all the cards, and once they were all out, he saw that he had missed one card on one player. So one of the players only had one card. Otherwise, everything was dealt out. So they called the pit over and showed him what happened. And so the pit said, okay, give that player the top card out of the shoe. Uh-huh. And then once that's dealt out, everyone at the table, everyone, not just the person affected by the one card, can decide whether or not they want to continue with the hand. And I can't remember what the dealer had up. It was a 7 or higher. I don't think it was a 10, but it was not a bust card that the dealer was showing. And so everyone decided to just not play the hand, except for one of the players who had 20. Uh-huh. And that player ended up winning. So I thought that was a great decision on the pit's part. It's like, okay, we messed up. So this is basically going to be a free roll for you.
Right. You can play your hand or not. Yeah. That's nice.
Yeah, that was very nice. So that was at Foxwoods. Really appreciate that. So it's getting late on Saturday afternoon, and we're trying to decide, okay, when are we going to go over to Mohegan Sun? And before we talk about that, let's hear from Max that we played craps with just previously.
Hi, this is Max from New Jersey. I just want to call in my trip report for Gamblepalooza in Connecticut at Foxwoods last week. I had an awesome time playing craps with Eric Rosenthal, Mark and Dr. Mike, and Cousin Vinny. Mm-hmm. In Mohegan Sun and in Foxwoods. Everything went great. Very organized. Loved everything. Between Foxwoods and Mohegan Sun, I noticed that on the 4 and 10, if you buy it, at Mohegan Sun, they charge you the 5% up front. And Foxwoods, they didn't. And I also noticed the odds, 10 times at Foxwoods, 5 times at Mohegan Sun. Now, I didn't play in the high limit room at Mohegan Sun. Maybe it's different there. Besides that, both places were pretty good. The dealers were on point at most places. Some places in Foxwood had new dealers, but what are you going to do? And the room was great. The water pressure, unbelievable. I never had a hotel room with such strong water pressure before. Well, I hope to see everybody out there in Vegas for Zorkfest. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.
Yeah, the water pressure was good. Those showers, I appreciate that.
Yeah, it was nice.
That was very good.
Mine was good. Yeah, the room was fine.
Yeah.
The TV was wanky.
Oh man, it was hard to work.
I complained about that TV.
That's true. Sometimes I couldn't get it to work. Yeah. Whenever I tried to bring up my account, it said it was not connected.
Yeah, right. Same here.
And it had a guide, but it didn't have a guide that showed what shows were on.
No, just
that's what's nice.
Like Channel 2 is ABC. Well, that doesn't tell me anything. Yeah, so I need to know what's on.
Yeah, flip through. Yeah. So yeah, I agree. The TV was kind of lacking.
They got to fix that.
Yeah, the dealers were good overall. It is funny that he talked about how at Foxwoods there were some new dealers. And I don't know why they do this, but the only really new dealers that I don't know if you were with me on this table,
right,
but it was at a $25 table
on a Saturday night.
I don't understand why you would put the newer dealers on the higher limit tables.
Well, maybe they're thinking they're not as crowded.
Well, that could be. I mean, maybe that is the answer.
Not as crowded.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
It's the only thing I can think. They think, well, it's not as crowded. They won't get overwhelmed. If there's only 2 or 3 people on a side.
Yeah.
So they weren't terrible, but there were a couple that were new. And what are you going to do?
Yeah, exactly.
You got to learn somewhere.
So at this point, we decide, let's go over to Mohegan Sun now. There's really no point in waiting, and it's not like we're all going to go over in one big group. So James offered to drive us over there. And again, thank you for taking us over there, James. James drove us over there. Yeah, it's about a 15-minute drive, something like that. Not bad at all.
Not very far.
Yeah. And we went inside. We went into the entrance of the Sky Casino. They've got 3 casinos, Earth, Wind, and Sky. And Sky is in the middle. And you and James went up to the craps table and started playing. I said, well, I'm going to look around a bit.
Right.
So I basically walked as much as I could the whole thing. It's a beautiful property.
Yeah, very nice.
It's definitely, it has a Native American theme, whereas Foxwoods really doesn't. Foxwoods just looks like, a big casino where you would go. But the motif at Mohegan Sun is just beautiful, really a great property. So I walked that whole thing, and then I came back to you guys, and you were getting slaughtered.
Yeah, it was terrible. We were there not very long at Mohegan Sun. How long do you think we gambled there?
Okay, so I started gambling with you at that point, and it stayed bad. Yeah. So maybe I gambled a half hour, and you actually quit before I did.
Yeah, we were probably there. I was probably gambled an hour,
yeah,
maybe. Yeah. And I don't know that I won more than a couple bets.
Yeah,
it was just terrible.
It was terrible.
It was really bad.
To compound it, now Max had talked about how the odds aren't quite as good. You can only take 5 times odds, and I was buying the 4 and 10.
Yeah.
And here I had to pay the vig up front. But it wasn't just that; it was the crew. I don't.
The crews were not that good.
They were not good. They were mopey.
They were not engaging at all. They were kind of mopey,
slow.
Well, there was one guy on that last table. I mean, seriously, at 72, he should have retired because being in your 80s and dealing craps is rough. That guy was so slow. His head went down to pick up some chips once, and the other dealers was talking to him about something like, that guy gets 20 change or something, and his head never came up. And I thought that's it. He's stuck. This is it. This guy, his head's not going to make it back up. He's just got too old. It was crazy how old that guy was.
And after you left, Mike, the boxman, he wasn't talking to us. He was complaining to the dealers at the table about some other dealer who wasn't there at the time, just complaining about the way he dealt. And that's what they were talking about. They weren't, all right, good luck, shoot, nothing.
Yeah.
So it really left a bad taste in our mouth.
Yeah, that it doesn't help when you're losing.
Yeah.
And then also when the dealers are kind of mopey. And stuff. It's not that they were rude.
No, they weren't outright rude
or anything.
No.
They were just mopey and kind of disinterested in the game. Almost like it's a chore to pay you. It was like weird. It's the middle of the day too.
Yeah.
At the end of a shift, I kind of understand that.
Yeah, sure.
Somebody's tired. They've worked 8 hours, but it didn't seem like they were at the end of their shifts.
Yeah, yeah. So at this point, we're thinking, well, how much longer do we want to stay here?
Right.
We've seen it, and we really don't want to play there anymore.
No, we're not earning any points either. We're not going to be there long enough.
Yeah. So you had gone off. I think you'd already gotten a drink or a snack or something, and I said, "Let's go over to the pizza place, Frank Pepe's Pizza, which I guess is a tradition, like a Connecticut.
It's an icon in Connecticut,
like an iconic Connecticut pizza,
yeah.
And it's a thin crust, kind of crunchy pizza. And it had been recommended to me that I get the white clam pizza, so I ordered that, and it was fine. I think that you tend to like the pizza that you ate where you grew up.
Right.
And
sure.
Yeah. And around here, San Diego pizza, not that San Diego has a big reputation for pizza, but the pizza around here is very cheesy.
Right.
With kind of a thick crust.
Yeah, no lamb on it either.
No lamb the whole time. You got a lamb pizza? No, Mike, it was clam. Clam pizza.
Little
it's
lamb.
Like, lamb? No, it's not lamb. So it was fine. I'm glad I did it since it's this iconic pizza, but I don't think I'd go back to it. You have to like that really thin crust, crunchy pizza.
Right, sure.
That's what it was.
Different parts of the country, different pizza.
Yeah. Then you noticed a sign at one of the little restaurants there for a soft serve.
Yeah, it's a now serving soft serve.
And you've been talking about getting ice cream the whole trip, you went over there to get some soft serve.
I ate very little ice cream.
Yeah, how did that go?
I'll tell you, I got up there, and a gal took my order, and all I wanted was soft serve, but you didn't have a drink, so I was going to get you a Coke.
Oh, okay.
And I said, so I want a soft serve, a swirl, and I want a large Diet Coke. And she said, the Coke machine's not working.
Okay.
I said, it's not working? She says, no, it'll be fixed tomorrow.
Okay.
So
did you order it and say you'd come back?
So evidently the guy comes Sunday to fix it.
Okay.
And he was going to fix it on Sunday morning. So Sunday afternoon I could get a Coke.
Okay.
I said, well, okay, then just give me this soft serve. And I waited and waited and waited. You ate your whole lamb pizza.
I ate my entire pizza. Now, it was a small pizza.
Yeah.
Right? But still, I ate the entire pizza while you were up there waiting for your soft serve.
Finally, I thought, well, they must have, something's wrong here. So the manager walked by and I said, oh, I ordered a swirl. Oh, okay, I'll get that for you. And he went and got it. I don't know what she did.
Yeah,
she just plugged it in, and she was the one working the counter, and the machine's right there. I just assumed she'd just go get it and hand it to me, right?
Right.
No, it took forever. Oh, God, I've never waited so long for a swirl.
Oh, my God. Well, by that time, everybody else started showing up to Mohegan Sun, and we said, well, we're heading back.
Yeah, right.
So I just have to say our whole Mohegan Sun experience was not very good.
Yeah, the only good thing about it was riding there and back with James.
Yeah, that was... in fact, I think we've got a call from James. Let's listen real quick.
Yeah, I got a Mohegan Sun trip report. Mark and Dr. Mike suck.
That didn't really sound like James. I don't know. That was.
We're driving there, and we're like, yeah, I have such a bad experience. Like, James, you should just call in, and yeah, you guys suck.
Oh wait, here's a real call from James.
Hey there, Dr. Mike and Mark. Just calling in with a trip report from Mohegan Sun at Gamblepalooza. The craps table sucked. That's it.
All right, that makes more sense.
And Dr. Mike, I figured out why you kept having trouble with the back door of my car. It seems a quarter got stuck in the lock somehow. Not sure why someone would put a quarter there. Huh. Anyway, have a great day, guys. Great meeting you.
Any idea how that
his brand new car? I had a quarter in my hand that I won at Pie Gal, that I got paid at Pie Gal for some vig that I had to pay. Yeah. And I'm twiddling it, and all of a sudden, just flips out of my hand. I never found that quarter. I hope it wasn't in his lock.
That's why you weren't able to get it there. Well, so anyway, we headed back to Foxwoods. Unfortunately, it didn't go very well even that night. It was funny. I was talking to people the next day. Apparently, that Saturday night, for most people who were there for Gamblepalooza, did not go very well.
Yeah, it just not. We went back and played craps, and it was just miserable.
Yeah. So let's talk about this dealer who would fiddle with the chips when she was dealing at the table. Talk about that.
Well, she was picking chips up out of her stack. She would pay her side, and then while the other side was waiting to get paid or the dice were being shifted, she would pick chips up. And at first I noticed that she had like 4 $1 chips in her hand, and she was playing with them, fiddling them back and forth. And I thought, well, that's kind of weird that because they're real anal, most casinos, about dealers playing with chips.
Yeah, right, because they got to clap their hands out and turn them around to show they don't have any clips in them.
Right. I mean, you could be palming chips or whatever.
Sure.
Then one dealer, she just grabbed quarters, and she had $25 chips, 4 of them in her hands, fiddling with them. And we thought, that is so weird.
It was. Yeah, you noticed. I wouldn't have noticed it. It's
I have never seen that, but the boxman never said anything to her. It was like a nervous thing, She
it did look like that way. Yeah, maybe it was like under the Americans with Disabilities Act.
Maybe,
she was because she's got like ADD or something.
Yeah, maybe. Seriously, that could be.
That very well could be,
she
right?
Was very
kind
nervous
of a tactile
and twitchy,
thing. Yeah.
But she was playing with them, and I thought, God, I've never seen that because in most casinos, that would be a huge no-no.
Yeah, you would think so.
A huge no-no, especially $25 chips.
I know.
I mean, I was thinking, what is going on?
And she was a very good dealer.
She was an excellent dealer. Yeah, very fast and everything. But as soon as she dealt her side, she'd pick up some chips and start, she was shuffling them in her hands.
Another funny thing that happened that night, we're at a $25 table. And this young guy comes up to the table, and he's trying to buy in for, it looks like $26 from where we can see.
Right.
And the boxman's trying to say, no, look, it's a $25 minimum table. And the guy is still kind of insisting, no. And eventually he says, no, I just want to bet on black. And the boxman said, oh, I think you want roulette right behind there.
Yeah.
And the guy kind of turned around and left. He had come up to the craps table with the intent of betting $26 on black.
On black.
I'm thinking they should have booked the bet.
Yeah.
And just say, it's right. 6 easy. Take the black.
Yeah, take the black. It was so weird.
Yeah.
It was one of the weirder things I've ever seen. Why in the world would you think that's a roulette table?
I mean, he must have been drunk. I can't imagine what else it would have been. But.
Yeah, but you're looking for a wheel, right?
I know, that's right. He's looking at this felt.
There's no big wheel. There's not all the numbers. It just doesn't even look remotely the same. But just give me 26 black. All right. Yeah, they should have booked it.
They should have.
Sorry, 12 red. Bye.
So it was a rough night. We went to bed. The next morning was Sunday. A lot of people had left on Sunday morning.
Right.
But Tim Lawson and I had decided very early in the trip that we were going to do the zip line. Now, this is not something that I normally do. But when Tim said he was going to do it, I thought, oh, maybe I will. And then I called my wife. She said, I absolutely have to do it because, I may never get back there. Said, well, okay. So we went over there around noon when it was opening, and then Bogan caught up with us too. So Bogan actually went with us. We went up and did this zip line, and this was terrific. You go up onto the roof of the Fox Tower. You're actually on the roof.
On the roof, yeah. I showed my wife the postcard of all the things. She says, it's on the roof?
Yeah.
Because that's a tall tower.
And we could see Mohegan Sun in the distance.
Wow.
That was kind of cool. It's like, it's right over there, right?
Uh-huh.
So, they zip you up there, and one of the things they tell you is hold on to the yellow straps the whole way. You're in a sitting position. Hold on, don't ever let go. And then at the very end, when there's this big clearing, you're about to get to the end, they tell you to lean back, so straighten your arms, so you lock your elbows, and spread your legs as wide as you can for the end where it breaks you.
Why do you have to spread your legs?
Well, here's the thing. This break, it's not even a break. It's just this thing you slam into and then you swing forward. I mean, it's just something you slam into. And I think they have you spread your legs just because you do get kind of swung up. And I don't know if you're keeping them together, you might get injured in some way.
It's probably let's just tell these idiots to spread their legs.
We thought that might have been it too, and that was possible. But it's so funny because we went down, the three of us, and we had these violent endings. There was a father-daughter that went in front of us. And we were talking to them afterwards. Apparently, the father, he didn't even get to the end. He just stopped. I guess his weight and his height or whatever. They actually had to push him in the end. Meanwhile, Tim and I are coming in together the same thing. Bam! It was violent.
That's funny.
But it was really fun. You're up so high, and they push you off. And I do have kind of a fear of heights. But if I'm attached to something, it's not that bad. Like if I'm at the Grand Canyon, I'm crawling up to the edge, right? I'm on my hands and knees and I can barely get. But with this, it's like, okay, I'm hooked up.
You feel that these ropes and ties made by men who are paid like, $12 an hour.
It felt secure. Okay.
Are going to save you.
These were not carnies. These are not good. All right, let me have your attention. Please keep your feet on the floor at all times. Take the attention, but please enjoy this. Enjoy. No, it was, they knew what they were doing.
They knew what they were doing, yeah. Right. They were paid $14 an hour.
So we got a little picture at the end. So that was definitely well worth it. You should have gone with us.
No, I just can't do that stuff.
I understand. Well, we did have some luck on that last day. So at least we did have a little bit of recoup.
Yeah, we had a little recoup.
Yeah, it was definitely a losing trip, but we had some really good runs there at the end. And we did meet up with listener Brian and his girlfriend Katie, and we actually got a call from Brian. Let's listen.
Hi, Mark, Dr. Mike. This is Brian from Northeast Ohio. I got back last night about midnight from the trip to Connecticut where I met you guys and played a little bit of craps at Foxwoods. I just promised you guys that I'd call in and I'd give you a little bit of a trip report. My girlfriend, Katie, and I spent the entire first part of the day running around Foxwoods trying to catch up with you guys. As it turns out, we probably walked past Dr. Mike in the hallway a couple times. That's what you get for trying to find guys you don't know what they look like. But we gave up on looking for you guys. Mark was ziplining, and I don't know where Mike was, and so we decided we're going to go to Newport, Rhode Island. And while we were in Newport, Rhode Island, I proposed to Katie. She said yes. And about an hour later, I saw that you guys had gotten back to me. So we went back to Foxwoods at Katie's behest. She's one heck of a fiance. And we got to play craps with you guys for about an hour. Did not do great. I think you guys gave back most of your winnings from the high limit room. I do apologize for that. But Dr. Mike gave me a nice little engagement present of $50 in odds that won. I appreciate that. And we wound up turning that into a nice jacket for Katie and a little bit of blackjack time at Mohegan after we met you guys. While we were at Mohegan, and this is kind of interesting, without asking, the dealer would show us the burn card, the whole table. So if a new dealer came in, they'd show the whole table the burn card, and then they'd start dealing. You guys mentioned that in the last episode or the episode before, so I found that very interesting. Anyway, it was great meeting you guys. Fantastic. It was like having my personal show at the table. And I hope you guys had a great trip back, and I hope to see you again either in Vegas or San Diego. So keep up the good work. I'll talk to you later.
Yeah, congratulations, Brian and Katie.
They were such a sweet couple.
Oh, they were so cute. I know. And well, the funny thing is, apparently we were the first ones to find out they were engaged.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Right here on You Can Bet on That, they tell us first, oh, yeah, we got engaged before their parents, before anyone else.
And thank you, Katie, for insisting that Brian come back, because I'm so glad we got to meet you guys.
Yeah,
and
especially it came all that way. It would have felt terrible.
Yeah, and I'm sorry the craps didn't go well, but boy, that seemed like kind of the way it was there towards the very end.
So far, I think she's got future wife of the year locked up.
Yeah, I think so too. I think
he's got a good one there.
Oh, and the whole burn card thing. What are we even talking about? I just would have loved to be at that table. All right, folks. Well, welcome to Mohegan Sun. Let me just burn this card here, and can everybody see that? 4 of spades. Did you see that over here in the third base? Okay, I'll go ahead and burn it now. I don't know what we're talking about.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, Brian actually had a follow-up call.
All right.
Hi, Mark, Dr. Mike. This is Brian from Northeast Ohio again. I literally just called and left you guys a voicemail, and there is something extremely important I forgot to include in the last phone call. When I was rolling at what I believe was Rainmaker Casino at Foxwoods, I established a point of 10, and I rolled it right back hard. Dr. Mike not only was not on any of the hard ways, but did not have full odds. So I do not want to disappoint Dr. Mike. I wanted to call back and tell you that you guys suck.
Oh, man.
I'll talk to you guys later.
Yeah, I don't know why I didn't put full odds. And it's like, as soon as he rolled it, like, oh, crap.
It's funny. It was a $10 table.
Yeah.
And I was betting 10. You were betting 15. And we've talked about it before. If you're going to bet more than the minimum on the pass line, you better take full odds. Because otherwise...
Why bet more than the minimum?
Yeah, you should just be betting the minimum and taking more odds. So I caught you on that. And then later, you were giving me a hard time because I wasn't taking full odds. But I had $10 out there.
Yeah, you had 10.
I wasn't taking full odds. So you made a big deal about it. And eventually, when a point was rolled, the dealer who had been listening, she went to pay me and she looked and saw that I didn't have full odds. And she said, "Are you serious? I shouldn't even pay you."
She said it so serious.
Oh my God,
Are you serious?
like you pathetic gambler. Yeah. Oh my gosh. We got such a kick out of that.
She was good. Yeah, he rolled a hard 10 right back. I don't know why I didn't have any hard ways either or anything. I was kind of like in some kind of shock or something. I don't know.
So again, congratulations, Brian and Katie. That was pretty much the trip. We met a lot of people there. I know we haven't mentioned anybody, and I apologize. I know if I tried to get everybody's name, we'd leave people out.
Right.
So I just want to say how we loved meeting everybody that was there. It really was a great trip.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was a great
terrific.
trip. Well, there were some highlights that I think you missed.
Okay.
First of all, Eric Rosenthal gave Ed O'Connor an award.
Oh, that's right. He actually made an announcement during the cocktail party at Centrale. Yes.
And he gave Ed O'Connor an award.
Yeah.
That was really nice.
Yeah, it was a baseball, right? It was
It's a baseball. Signed baseball by a New York Met that is one of Ed's favorites.
That's great.
So that was great. Another thing, Bethany had the best hair day of her life while we were there.
Oh, that's right. She was talking about how she had a great hair day.
Right.
And then when we saw her the next day, "Come on, Bethany, roll." And she said, I'm not having as good a hair day.
Her hair day wasn't as good. Yeah. But she had a great hair day
that's right.
that first night we met her.
That's right.
We had a good time with the Canadian group.
Yes.
Yeah, they were very enjoyable.
Yes.
At one point, David's wife was helping my 12-year-old daughter pick out a pair of shoes.
Oh, I wasn't there for that.
You weren't there for that.
Okay,
We were standing
right.
there, and she wanted to buy this, what I think is god-awful looking pair of shoes, but all the kids wear them now.
Yeah.
So she was helping her pick out the shoes, which one she thought was best via the phone. But they were a hoot. We had a good time with them.
That was great.
Yeah.
A couple other things too. At the tables, when the cocktail waitress would come by, you could order shakes.
Oh, yeah. We got milkshakes.
Milkshakes. I don't know how it came up. We were in the high limit room. One of the dealers said, "Well, you can get a shake there." Really?
Yeah.
So we got shakes while we were there. So that was nice.
That was kind of nice.
Yep.
I never saw that at a casino before. I've never asked. Maybe they all do it.
No.
Maybe it's it's like exposing the card.
Yeah, that's all the East Coast thing.
You get milkshakes.
You gonna get a shake?
I thought that was cool.
I liked how you were trying to order a Mountain Dew. You were yelling across to one of the cocktail waitresses because she was on the other side of the table. "I want a water and a Mountain Dew." And she said, You want a milk?
Yeah. You want milk?
And I said, "Yeah, bring me his milk."
All the dealers like, "A milk?"
Another thing about the craps tables too, no put bets.
No put
So
bets.
once a point had been established, you could not bet on the pass line. You could place the number, of course, but you couldn't. They wouldn't let you do it. And that's the same law in Atlantic City.
And as per state rules, you couldn't add to your pass line bet, which
Same
I think
thing,
is
which
stupid.
is technically a put bet.
Yeah,
right. All you
right.
could do was make an additional place bet. Also, this was interesting. Every craps table, I thought it was only at certain ones, but once we started playing, we realized all of the spots that are right next to a dealer are non-smoking.
Yeah.
So to the right and left of the stick person And then right next to the dealers who are, by the don't come box right there, that little space, it says no smoking, little
space,
arrows,
little
showing.
space, no smoking.
So
we were laughing because you can stand here, you can't smoke. You stand right here, you can smoke.
Yeah, I think the idea is they just don't want smoke right
blowing
in the dealer's faces, I guess.
Yeah. Which is kind of nice,
Sure,
but I mean, I don't know how much difference that makes.
Yeah, I don't know.
The breakfast I thought was really good that first morning.
It was kind of a buffet thing. Yeah,
I thought that was good. The waitress handled that. Or
there were several
that were in there.
Yeah.
They handled that really well. That went really smooth.
Yeah.
I like that. They were betting on the over/under. I like that. I liked that Eric Rosenthal and Tim from The Better Life had a bet on the over/under how many people would show up for breakfast.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I mean, anytime somebody goes to the effort to bet on the over/under about how many people are going to be eating, I think that deserves special.
Take the over.
Yeah,
I think as a general rule, just take the over.
Yeah,
I think people like food.
I think Eric was right. The people are going to show up for food.
So it's so great to meet everybody. I'm sure we're forgetting stuff. I tried to write stuff down as we went along, and with my record, I'm sure we're forgetting something. But
I'm sure
bottom line, it was a really good trip.
Yeah, and anyone we didn't mention that we talked to, we remember you. We just don't remember it entirely.
Right now, that's right. Well, Mike, I got to thinking, and I think I may owe you money for a wager, because we did finally go to Foxwoods and Mohegan Sun. And I'm thinking back to, I think it was February 2016.
I would tend to say we go to Mohegan Sun because I like to say Mohegan. That's fun to say.
Look, if we go, and I'll tell you, I'll just be honest with you right now, with the point that we're at in our lives, we're not going anytime soon. We would love to go. I mean,
we would go, if possible, we would go next week.
We would love to go.
It's just not, probably not
so
going to happen.
If it happens, it's probably going to be a few years from now, to be honest. But when we do...
I will wager you right now, it's less than 3 years.
You think that'd be great?
Yeah.
Okay.
Somehow we're going to end up there. Okay. I mean, I don't know how, but somehow we're going to end up there.
So I don't know if we actually came up with a dollar amount or anything there, but I may...
I think all your free play for a month.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's rough. How about a well drink?
A well drink will do, too.
All right.
Give me a milkshake.
Okay.
If we go to Harris Rincon, if you can get them to bring me a milkshake at the table, then we're even.
All right. Okay.
How's that sound?
Good. All right.
I mean, they brought me Jell-O before.
Yeah, that's true. One of the dealers did bring Jell-O.
Brought Jell-O.
I'm going to try to get you a milkshake actually at the table.
Yeah, that'd
I'm going to
be
really
great.
push for it. Right?
I want extra cherries.
All right. This next segment, Tim was making fun of the way I do it every time, and I'm going to still do it the same way. Hey, thanks to everyone who's been clicking through our Amazon link. Remember, whenever you're going to buy something through Amazon, please go to our page first, youcanbetonthat.com, and click through our Amazon link towards the top of the page. All right, we have got a bunch of voicemails, and we're not going to get to all of them tonight. I do want to get a couple because some have been just sitting in the hopper for so long, and let's take 2 calls, and then we'll save the rest for next time. We'll just have a big...
We'll have a longer show next week.
Yeah, it'll just be all voicemail next week.
All right.
Yeah,
Sounds
that's
good.
the way to do it. All right. So first, don't forget, call our voicemail hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 9512-WAGERS.
9512-WAGERS.
And maybe we'll play your clip on the show. First up is Brandon.
Hey, Mark, Dr. Mike. This is Brandon from Washington State, kind of the home of the Indian casinos. Anyway, coworker of mine turned me on to your podcast, and now I'm hooked. It's great. Love everything about it. Betting tips and stories. It's great. Keep up the good work. I'll spread the word, get more listeners. Anyways, after getting caught up on a lot of your podcasts, I thought I'd call in, give you a little update. Here in Washington State, we got, started out with about 3 of us going to Vegas every year for March Madness, and we started this Hard 9 Club. So what that is every time we teach somebody new how to play craps, we give them a couple dollars and say, just throw it out in the middle and say Hard 9. It's the best bet on the table. So, of course, they do, and everybody chuckles and to laugh. It just kind of initiates you into the group, and we go down, and everybody's got a Hard 9 shirt on with a nickname on the back and 2 dice on the front, and the dice are a 7 and a 2. So everybody laughs because there's no 7 on a dice. But anyways, I thought I'd give you that update and tell you a quick little story about a local Indian casino. So we get this girl and we teaching her how to play craps, and she's throwing really good. We tell her to kiss the dice, so she does. We tell her to blow on the dice, So she does. Well, we're 25 minutes into it, maybe 3 or 4 points, doing pretty well. And she decides to lick the dice. That was not coming from us. That is so disgusting. And rolls a point. So she's excited, and she's probably only betting $3, and we're all just betting for her. Well, the table warns her and says, you can't do that. Well, she's been drinking, so she thinks she can do anything she wants. So a few numbers later, she licks them again. They yell out, no roll, take the dice. Ma'am, you can't do that again, they says. If you do, we're going to take the dice, and there'll be no more dice. We'll have to shut the table down. So they tell her, do you know where those dice have been? And she says, do you know where my mouse been? I think the table lost it. Might have been the funniest thing I've ever heard at a craps table. But anyway, I just had a question. When we're throwing the dice, I know the lingo and, some little things about craps, but maybe you guys got one. You throw out a hard 10 and you say zipper ripper or lady's best friend or a 6 and 9. Some of them will call it the dinner for two or the happy meal. Wondering if maybe you guys had some I hadn't heard. Anyways, I'll listen to see if maybe you guys got any. Thanks a lot.
Well, we're generally not quite that vulgar at the craps table. Although we did hear a new one on this last trip. You know how we always say that 9 is the natural right back number? Well, Boxman Brian in that high limit room, he said everybody makes a 5.
Yeah.
Whenever the point was 5, well, everybody makes a 5.
Everybody makes a 5.
Everybody makes a 5.
So now whenever there's a 5 for a point, we say, okay, everybody makes a 5.
Everybody makes a 5. So that doesn't really answer your question, Brandon, but there you go. Licking the dice. I don't know what's worse. Remember a few years back we were in Vegas and we saw a guy licking the escalator handle, right?
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
What's that worse?
I think I'd rather lick the dice than the escalator handrail.
Right. I think
licking the dice is still pretty gross too. But she had a good point because, and she's drinking alcohol, so her mouth's pretty sterilized.
Yeah.
And I don't think nothing bad would come of that.
No. It's
well, I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
They just don't want saliva on the table. That's part of it.
That might be part of it. That's probably her plan, right? They roll it into the saliva, and then it's dice control.
Yeah, it's dice control.
All right. So one more call from Mike.
Hey guys, this is Mike. Don't know if you've been inundated with calls or messages about this one, but a show or two back, a guy mentioned playing blackjack with the English deal where the dealer does not have a hole card, and he said that he played the basic strategy and doubled his 6-5 against an ace and ended up losing his double down bet when the dealer had a blackjack. And I wanted to point out that the basic strategy play for 11 against 10 and ace for the dealer is not to double down with the English rule. I play in Aruba a good bit where they play that way, and I see that mistake all the time. So I just wanted to point that out. Thanks.
So let's talk about this for a second. So this English way, or a lot of people call it the European way because they do it in Europe. The dealer does not take a down card. When he deals all the cards, he does not deal a down card to himself.
Until everyone else has played.
So you think, well, what big deal? What's the difference? Well, here's the difference. If in the course of the hand, you double down or split, and then the dealer ends up making a blackjack, he gets a card after everything is hand, you lose all of your double down, all of your split, all of your money. Right. So that's a big difference. In American blackjack, the dealer deals himself a down card and then checks to see if he has blackjack and flips it over right away, and people only lose their initial bet. Right. So that's why basic strategy is different for the European rules, because if you're doubling down with an 11 against an ace, well, you're going to lose that double down money.
Right.
Now, Mike was talking about a call that we had gotten from Han, who had played this in Macau. And if you listen to the phone call, it sounds like Han said that he doubled down with an 11 and the dealer ended up making blackjack, but the dealer only took his initial bet, not the double down bet. And in fact, when we saw Han at Gamblepalooza, I asked him, I wanted to double check, hey, did this really happen? And sure enough, they only took his initial bet. So I don't know why. I don't know why they don't just deal a down card then, because if they're playing by those rules, it just takes longer.
Maybe so somebody can't see.
Oh, that's true.
See.
You're right.
You've already made your decision.
That's right. So
it doesn't matter if you see after
you're
that.
Right. You're right. People can't hold card, and the dealer can't give anything away.
The dealer can't give anything away.
You're probably right.
I'm sure that's it.
So since this was the case with Han, he did actually make the correct move as far as basic strategy goes.
Right.
But again, like Mike said, if you're really doing this European style, the basic strategy is different because the dealer doesn't get his down card until the rest of the play.
That's quite a coup for the casino there, I'll tell you.
Yep. All right, a couple of final things. The Kentucky Derby's coming up.
Yeah.
May 5th, so it's actually going to go off before our next episode. So enjoy that, everybody. Cinco de Mayo and Kentucky Derby Day.
On the same day.
That's right.
I don't know that Cinco de Mayo is that big in a lot of places.
No, but
Here
I'm
in San Diego,
going to drink a mint julep with tequila.
There you
What do you
go.
think about that?
I like it.
That's how I'll do it.
How about
right?
just forget the mint julep and just have a margarita?
Oh, all right. That's fine, I guess.
That seems better. Pretend it's mint julep. That stuff's gross.
I know. I'm not a big mint. I don't know if I've told you this story, but we were at Grand Canyon a few years ago, my parents, my sister, and I, and it was during Kentucky Derby. And so my mom said, I'm going to get myself a mint julep. I'm going to get a mint julep. And her mother's from Kentucky.
Right.
And I'm thinking, okay. So she ordered a mint julep and she hated it. And we're tasting it. It's like, yeah, Mom, this is what a mint julep tastes like. And it's like, I didn't know it was so bad.
Did I ever tell you my mint julep story?
I don't know.
It's about my father-in-law, my mother and father-in-law. So my father-in-law made whiskey and wine barrels. That was his business.
Yeah.
So Seagram's invited him to the Kentucky Derby once. So they go down to the Kentucky Derby and they're in a box. Real nice. Seagram's got this big box and everything. And they gave him mint juleps. So they all had a mint julep. And he's like, oh, this is gross. And he liked to drink. So, but this is gross. So he's going to pour it out.
Okay.
Because he doesn't want to offend anybody. So he reaches down below his seat, like, how at a stadium the seats are staggered, and he pours it. Turns out he poured it into like one of the presidents of Seagram's wife's purse, who was under her seat. He poured the whole mint julep, thinking he's pouring it on the ground, into her purse, and then realized what he had done. And being a good guy, he had fessed up to it. He had to tell her, I think I poured my mint julep in your purse, inside her purse. Oh my God.
Oh, that's great.
It was the most embarrassing moment of his life.
I can just imagine.
Yeah. That'd be something I'd do, right?
Well, if you're going to do it at the Kentucky Derby.
Right. Do it at the Kentucky Derby. Pour mint julep into somebody who you had do millions of dollars of business with every year.
That's right. All right. And speaking of other things coming up, don't forget Zorkfest, May 25th through the 27th. Use promo code ZORKBET to get $10 off. We're looking forward to that charity craps tournament on that Friday night. Don't forget Podcasters After Dark on that Saturday night. And all during Saturday during the day, tons of panels that you can go to find out how to take advantage of rewards programs through airlines and casinos and credit cards. I'm going to go to a lot of those panels.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
You do whatever you need to do. I understand. I'm going to a lot of those panels. I'll tell you right now.
Very good.
All right. We want to thank some people for some PayPal donations. First of all, recurring donations from Brian and also from Brian and Sarah. Thank you very much. Also from Adrian, says a karma donation for a 5-night trip starting May 6th. Thanks for all that you do, Mark, to talk numbers and try to keep me from playing like Dr. Mike, even though your efforts are unsuccessful. So,
good for him.
Yes, right. Also from Louise, she says, you know what she did? She made bets for us for the Grand National race in England.
Oh, nice.
Remember that?
Yeah,
a few weeks back.
It's like a free-for-all horse race.
Yeah, exactly, right. And so our horses didn't win, but she still sent us a donation. She said, congratulations on picking the wrong horse, but being friends with the people that picked the right horse. Yeah, Tim and Michelle over at 500, they each picked the winner, Tiger Roll. Tim picked it to win and Michelle to place. So, they got a nice win out of that.
Now, was it the favorite?
No.
Oh,
So,
nice.
yeah, they did okay. Yeah. So, thanks again, Lou. Also, from our buddy Andrew, who's moved away, used to be our buddy here, go up to Harrah's. He said, best of luck at Gamblepalooza in Connecticut. Looking forward to catching up at 360 Vegas Vacation 6. Good. We'll see you there, Andrew. And finally, from Terrence, he says, it's a buy-in for my cousin's bachelor party, April 26th through the 30th. Looking for first royal flush, first fire bet, all tall, all small, 8th trip's a charm. So good luck. I hope you win all those,
Yeah,
Terrence.
I do too.
Yeah. Hey, be sure to check out our TV listing showing all the gambling-related shows coming up within the next 2 weeks. We update those listings every Wednesday using a customized program that searches through all the raw American TV data. Just go to youcanbetonthat.com/TV-listings. We'd love to hear from you. Call our voicemail hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 951-2-WAGERS. Or you can email us at youcanbetonThat@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at YouCanBetOnThat and on Facebook at facebook.com/YouCanBetOnThat. Finally, please go to your favorite podcast app and write a review on us. We love getting your feedback. Take us home, Mike.
Well, besides not winning, which neither of us came out ahead.
No, we did not.
That's happened to us plenty of times.
Sure.
That was an excellent trip.
It was fantastic.
The people were excellent.
Yes.
We did not have any problem with anybody. The dealers were excellent. I mean, overall, things went really smooth and well. The casinos are beautiful.
Yeah, I think so. Here we were complaining about the cruise at Mohegan Sun, but yeah, they're both great facilities as far as we can tell.
Yeah,
sure.
We got a few surly crew members, but it wasn't that bad.
No.
And everything was nice. The weather was nice. Our trip was nice.
Yeah.
We had no real problems.
No, we didn't. When we ziplined, it was like 60 degrees. I mean, we had jackets on because we were, moving pretty fast there.
Right.
But it was great.
I wore shorts two out of,
you wore
two out
shorts
of the 3 days.
That's
I
right.
mean, I don't know what people there thought it was so cold. I like that.
It was a great trip, Mike. And when I really got a sense of it was when, I know you weren't with us, but when we were in the race book and we were, there were only about, 10 of us in there. But it was like, okay, this is why we're here. There were reserved seats. This is what we're doing right now. We're thinking, okay, other people are doing other stuff. But it's just like, this is great. Everybody loves this. Everybody loves going to casinos.
It was a real good kind of gambling family atmosphere.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
And you drank enough.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, it seems like I drank a lot, but I never got drunk. I really did not. I was, doing shots with Vito at the end there, the tequila stuff, but I don't know. Maybe it's because I just had eaten a lot or whatever, but
we were excited.
Yeah, that's a lot of it too,
You're excited. I slept well, actually.
Isn't that funny?
I
couldn't believe it on that Sunday. I was down at the casino. I don't know. It was like 9:30. I texted you and said, I'm going to stay in bed a little longer. I'll get up at 11. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I've never heard you, sleep in like that on a casino trip.
This cold came on, so that might have been part of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was nice. We got sleep. We had fun. We gambled a lot.
Yes,
we had nothing else to do.
Yeah,
right?
we gambled a lot. Yeah. It was fun. All right. Thanks for listening.
Good night.
Mark, that was wonderful. I had no idea you were so talented. The audience is going to love you.